Attention gamers. Previously in Rav's Igloo, I tried the famous River Shen strategy in a video where I discovered the true power of playing this game incorrectly, and considering that match was a much needed break from my attempts at climbing in this piss pit of a game which can best be summarized by this crimson wall, I decided to make my own sequel to the famous story. You see, River Shen didn't farm camps or hooded lane midgets, he farmed champions with the mentality that a relentless river roaming approach on the rift would result in making more ganks, delivering more spanks and collecting more banks, only to then communicate his actions in chat by saying nothing other than, River Shen. So then Elon Musk had intercourse with Thomas Edison. They plant the offspring in my brain as a surrogate to create a mutant prodigy idea that no one has ever had in the history of this game. What if instead of one River Shen, there was two, effectively a double jungler strategy, but like the legend we will farm champs instead of camps the whole time, rocking double coked up strippy boots as we roam the rift, effectively turning it into my favorite game mode, Team Deathmatch. The last thing we needed was something cringe to call it and spam in chat that will surely piss off our victims, and after no thought or any effort at all, we settled on Gank Bros. And so for episode 1 of Gank Bros we needed some good champs, and what better way to kick it off with double stealthy boy, since AP Twitch is about as trendy for no reason as avocado toast, and Pike is into that sharing is caring life with his earnings, and little did I know not 25 minutes later we would be responsible for close to 50 successful homicides. This is Gank Bros, the ganking spanking duo Q strat that you can take straight to the bank till you're rolling in the big bucks like a gamer who uses Buff.
Buff?
Buff is basically every gamer's personal sugar daddy, as it's an app authorized by Overwolf, so it's like a food approved by the FDA, so you can trust there's no shady shenanigans going on in the background or salmonella involved. And how it works is you install this application, which is so lightweight Bunny Foo and his noodle arms could curl it for a set of 20, and then you simply let it run in the background, tracking your in-game stats and achievements as you play your favorite games. It supports tons of popular titles, including this toxic piss pit that we all have come to know and hate, but it is really a tilter knowing that when you're getting slapped worse than a bag of cheap Franzia at a frat house, you are still making some bucks on the side. You can then take your fat stacks of earnings to purchase RP credits, skins, game keys, hardware, gift cards, puppies.
They can't purchase puppies, Rav.
Not puppies, and so much more. It's so easy a Yasuo main could do it, and I don't know about you, but it would eat me up inside knowing one of those mouth-breathing airbags is making money while losing my LP and I'm not. So use my link in the description to install Buff and start earning today. Now if you still have your posting timestamp in comments virginity, you have earned yourself an additional Rav respect, and if you are excited to witness the gank spank bank routine described above, then it would be dank and worth a thank if you subbed and abused that upward thumb button for the algorithm. Okay, so the Elon Edison bastard child of an idea here dictates that one of the gank brothers takes smite and you start topside so that he can hit level 2 and stealth in for an early gank, but me and Brandy Boy here are just two peas in a piss-ridden pod, so that shit didn't quite happen. And then step 2 in this flawless plan is to give top lane a double stuffed Oreo where the icing is two idiots, but unfortunately hooking wasn't a skill on Pike's resume. So then plan C was to pay a visit mid, and I could swear Lemony Snicket wrote the plot to this game so far, because it was just a series of unfortunate events when White MC Hammer couldn't grasp the concept of freezing a lane. So our last resort was to head south, because your bot laner will almost certainly be tilted tower hugging and tying himself a noose at this point, which makes for the perfect opportunity to come down and inform this bronze ball gagging ballerina that her fountain called and needs to speak with her. And even though Edgar Allan Poe died in the process, that tranquilizing toddler was left in a worse position than a stripper at a baptism. So I start prepping myself for a glorious rat rendezvous, but the child chooses fight over flee, and so I choose to be an entire canoe of douche by flashing for a secure kill so I can get a tilt ticker primed and ready for me to jam my forehead against my expunge so that Rift Alexa says my name. To which bandwagon Bobby Mr. I first picked the newest flavor of the month, or I rage quit like a true cock gobbler seems to be onto us. But the results from our first bot lane expedition were good enough to prompt a second, so I come sneaking back in rambunctious and reeking with a desire to rip this Tesla doll a new asshole, and thanks to the boys yanking her back like they are 12 and she their dingling, she gets stuck in this hopeless hallway until I push my steel kill button to put an end to it. Then we may have been noobs, but goddamn were we nomadic, as we immediately ran cross country to inform this man that he is of the rare windshitter breed and their typical habitat is back in base with the color turned off on their screens. And it must have been our lucky day, because on the way to our next delivery of death we ran into the powdered sugar-covered sword simp, so the 5-gum commercial sperm cell hits him with a stun, and then I pepper him with poison till he taps out as 2 Chainz comes in with the audacity to think that somehow he who is too lazy to remove his broken handcuffs will have any chance against the gank bros. But we had to travel straight back up north because our giant steel piss plunger of a top laner clearly didn't understand how embarrassing losing to a moron who plays Yone is. So we cast our invisibility cloaks, watch our dumb friend die, and then proceed to miss every single one of our abilities until I have to resort to Travis Barkering the shit out of my right click button until the Twin of Wind takes his final queef. And turns out our Raven fetish amputee who was stranded bot alone isn't a fan of the Gank Bros, but at this point we now both have the Mobius brand of Nikes, which by the transitive property means that this rusting slut and her wrecking ball are also not a fan of us either. Then we catch Echo's emo cousin thinking he can just roam the river without getting ratchet ass slapped like an insubordinate tush, but we forget that Smurf covered swordsmen can just skinny dip in their own wall sludge to stealth scoot their way out of anything. But it's fine because ganking their brainless bot lane is about as free as two testes on a man going full commando, so I come in to announce that I was hiding in my stupid squeaky voice and then proceed to play this about as bad as it can be played until I receive a tin titty twister before flashing to dodge my own teammate's ability. Swain starts levitating, which is the preface to all lost fights, and then enter the ruined king reeking with his thresh lost soul's dick breath, so I say I gotta take a piss in the shrubs before we duke it out, but really I'm launching a game of peekaboo hoping he will slap our bird fetish grandpa instead of me for a bit, because who really gives a shit if he dies anyway, and then I pop out, dart fart him to oblivion and watch his sweet ass melt away in the sunset. Then back north to see how Yone Mr. Brains Baloney is doing against our walking submarine, and no amount of dashing or slashing will get him out of a situation with the 900-pound steel anchor flashing to smash him before Pike does some letter X splashing. But as I'm trying to escape the crime scene, the wall slips a little ambient up my asshole, but luckily my gank bro won't let any girl take advantage of me when I am sleeping, not to mention Anchor Andy is still in the area, so when I wake up I cover myself in stealth and then throw a few ass gas arrows at the hoe as payback for roofing me. The box said free range chickens, but these are always in this same coup, so I am just murdering them when I notice my butt buddy in a fight against Mr. Identity Theft, so I run up and throw a bag of my putrid piss on him out of pure disgust before learning firsthand that ecstasy is indeed addicting, because after one hit of X he immediately needs another. So then I continue putting my ratchet ass rat nose where it shouldn't be, resulting in me taking another force nap and having to watch that Ninja Turtle hit another round of X from the stands. Then, despite us practically keeping a pair of toothbrushes up top with how much we have lived there, Anchor Andy is defying all odds and getting wrecked by the wind shitter, so we start to set up the wraparound special call us fucking Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton as Pike warms up the oven, and then I arrive just in time to pop my muffins in, effectively adding him to the list of people who are not a fan of the Gank Bros. Straight back to bot because word on the street is there's a bronze ballerina in the bushes, and so my lifelong fantasy of getting flashed by a dancer comes true. And then, boys and girls, this is why hard drugs are bad, because they turn you into a reckless monster, and I think we can all agree that we should be counting ourselves lucky, but not the addict himself. Know that crazed sperm cell straight out of his 5-gum commercial has that itch for one more hit on that baby bitch, which ends up being a lethal dose of the X. Then it looks like Match.com paired the two losers who like to use other people's ults together, and their baby came out like a Godzilla crab, so I sneak over just in time to see the sperm covered one die, and then I invite 2 Chainz in for some 50 Shades of Grey action, only to then flash away and watch him X whiff the spot before he pisses off and goes home. But hey, give him a break, that was his first time using that ult, so he just needs to practice more and watch others use it. So I ask my gank bro if he can put on a small X drawing clinic, which lands both his volunteers in base, and then we press on ARAM style on our quest to shank a shitter of wind, but we come across a baby Rapunzel instead, so I let her do 2 hops this time and then spray with no need to pray my poisonous piss all over her, which goes well with a chain yank and douche dunk to finish her off. Then Pike runs into Baloney Brains during his victory lap, so I rubberneck my way over just in time to play the role of the fruit in a game of Fruit Ninja, which ends up earning me a quick 3 hundo. Then red meat is on the menu at McDragon, so everyone and their therapy pet is in line, but unfortunately for them my team has the wealth associated with over 35 successful homicides thus far, so they start to go down one by one until that simp in the shackles marinates in my piss puddle before joining his butt buddy back in base. Then that creepy doll fetish robot remains perfectly consistent in her dying without doing anything useful look that she's been rocking all game, so needless to say we got that red meat. To which their jungler makes it abundantly clear that he is just not cut out to be a monetized Twitch streamer, and then we run top to continue exploiting the fact that all windshitters apparently don't have the luxury of a mini-map when they play this game. And at this point I don't know if it's gank bros anymore or run around bloody shitting on every other living creature on the Rift Bros, but I enjoy the amenities that come with attaching the sniper scope to my dart farter, and then I get in a pussy pursuit of the plate Polly Pocket, knowing that I won't kill her but at least I can have her smelling like a rat's ass when she leaves, and most people would rather die in that situation, so it's no surprise that she comes straight back just begging to be put out of her misery. Then me and Project Dead Doc Worker are bringing sexy back to stealth by hitting a reach around to confirm that Oriana should win the title of most she who hates her life the most, and then thanks to a rat taxidermy fetish out of 2 Chainz he too finds himself back in timeout. And I guess Edgar Allan Poe got used to being outnumbered and triple tapped on his old wrinkly ass, so he runs in all willy-nilly, and you would think at this point they would suspect a sewer rat and his bald turtle to pop out for a 30th straight round of surprise you a dead bitch, but you truly can just never underestimate a tilted League of Legends player. So that is episode 1 of Gank Bros, and if you would like to see the Pike perspective including our live cringe-ass commentary, you can check it out on his channel called Off-Brand GG. Let us know what gank bros we should try next, and as always, Rav out.
Happy boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy. Talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy I'll make her happy.